Hello, welcome to another Peteman Reviews. Today we have the unique toys offering of Warlord. As you can tell, Warlord is basically a third-party remake of the Generation 1 version of Predaking. I've put quite a large zoom out on this just to demonstrate how big the toy is, particularly the sword. If we zoom in later on, I'll actually have to pick the camera up and move you closer. You'll get the idea of just how huge it is and how detailed the toy is. We've also started with him in his combined mode, as Predaking is fairly stable once you get a pose sorted, but particularly the sword is quite difficult to hold. It's even more difficult to transform, or perhaps I should say, to change the robots into their various forms and to join them together. So we'll start off with the size comparison. Obviously, Predaking, and I'll use the Hasbro names just because it gets confusing otherwise, is big. So if we compare him next to the MP10 release of Masterpiece Convoy, obviously it's not to scale. Convoy is a big toy, a very good looking toy, but not as tall as Predaking, and bear in mind that Predaking is stooping down a bit, but that gives you some idea. So that's not really to scale as such. If we then look at Unite Warriors Menasor, now Menasor again is a very nice toy. I'll bring Masterpiece Convoy as well, so you get an idea of the comparison. So Unite Warriors is a nice sized toy, no question about that, but Predaking is even bigger. I mean, the sword alone is probably the same height as Menasor. On where he's leaning a bit, which does look a bit silly. There we go. So the sword alone is the same height as Menasor. But where Predaking really works is with the Generation 1 toys. So if we just move Convoy out the way, and if we just move Menasor out the way, actually we'll leave Menasor in because he is also to a good scale. So with someone like Generation 1 Prowl, that gives you a really good idea of the scale. And we'll just zoom in a bit on that. So you've got G1 Prowl there, not a bad sized toy at all. And then if we go over here to Unite Warriors Menasor, that's big. Back to Prowl, and you just go up and up and up. Prowl's not even in shot anymore, and we still haven't reached Predaking's head. And then you've got the sword, which is up and up. So that, to me, is the kind of scale you're looking for in a combiner. Someone who absolutely dwarfs the other Transformers, but is quite obviously made up of the component parts of them. So while it may not necessarily have been designed to work with the G1 Transformer sizes, Predaking works absolutely excellently with them. He's very good scale with the Unite Warriors Menasor, and Menasor itself is a good scale with Unite Warriors Superion. So actually, they work quite well, with Predaking being the tallest, the strongest, and he's got the biggest sword. That's all you need to know, really. So we'll just take these out of the way. And now I'll bring you a bit closer to the toy himself. Obviously you're not going to be able to see all of him at once, but that's okay. It just gives you an idea of what we're talking about. So Predaking is composed of a number of parts, or perhaps we should say Warlord is composed of a number of parts. So you've got his arm here. This is Warhawk, or Dive Bomb. This leg is Ironhead, or Headstrong. You probably can't see that too well. There we are. Ironhead or Headstrong. Savage Bull or Tantrum. Violence or Rampage, which is quite a clever play on words. And of course Sharp Claw, which is Razor Claw. Again, another fairly obvious but quite clever play on words. And together they form Warlord or Predaking. So in terms of posability, obviously you've got his sword here. We'll just take this off. That's a big sword. I mean, if you hold it, that's a dagger on human terms as well. So that's quite impressive. It is pretty sharp. So if you look at the point there, I don't know how clearly that is, but if you look at the point, that's quite a good point to it, even if it is plastic. It's definitely on a kid's hand. It's actually on an adult's hand as well. How big his sword is. The hands on Predaking, just zoom in. Oh, this is what I mean by the balance. Once you get it right, it works well. If you move it a bit, it starts to fall apart. are basically, his hands, as you can see, are just claws, and the level of articulation on them. See, he's got individual joints on every single hand. You don't get that level on most Transformers. You certainly don't get those on anything but a Masterpiece Transformer, and even then, I doubt you get that. You don't get quite the same level of it in 3 joints per finger, which is extremely impressive. Obviously, he's got knuckles there with spikes, spikes there, spikes there. Anyone would think Predaking likes spikes. I'll zoom out again. Now, I'm going to gradually dismantle him now to get an idea of how he's put together. Just prop him up against the wall, because otherwise he has a tendency to fall off. He looks a bit like an extra from a dance movie here, I guess. Guns. Predaking has a big gun, but what's also quite neat about this is actually it's a combination of weapons. So all of the other guys, this is obviously a missile rack, actually I think does it move? Of course it doesn't. All the other guys' guns combine together to form a big gun. That's pretty neat. So you end up with five separate weapons, which would normally be called kibble, but here they actually work together and they form one big gun. So I quite like the sound of that. In terms of joining Predaking together, now these little weapons here, the guns off the side, they come off. These would normally go on Razor Claw, and as you can see, when they do go on Razor Claw, they retract, put them more Razor Claw size. He also has at the back this massive wings, which are meant to be the wings of Dive-Bomb. Clearly these are too big for Dive-Bomb. Dive-Bomb's that size, the wings are that size, so these are extras. The wings are pretty fiddly. They do come off. They are quite difficult to take on, because what you've got is you've got this clip here, that and that all connect to that piece there, that goes into there, and then you've got that which goes onto that bit there. Once they clip in, they're really, really snug, but they can be a pain to try and clip on. Predaking also has a separate head. So whereas some of the others, see, it just pops off. Whereas some of the others have the head built in, Predaking does not. Some of the others being the Unite Warriors toys, for example. So there we are, a separate head. And now we have a headless Predaking. It looks a little bit odd like that. In terms of his constituent parts, this hook I found really difficult. For some reason, this part here really does not want to go in. It may not want. Oh, it did come out quite well, but for some reason this joint into that hole I've really struggled with, which is why one of the reasons I started them off in that mode. In terms of the hands, you simply see the Transformer himself just pulls apart like that, and the hands very nicely slot in. See, so there's a slot there and a corresponding slot there, and the hands just slot in like that. I'm not going to change all the robots into their individual components. You'll have to watch other videos for that. I'm just showing you how it comes apart, so you can then get an idea of when you build Predaking what to do. Again, this is exactly the same in reverse. This should pop out. See, so that again pops into there. I won't take the hand off here because you've seen it once. Now, as for the legs, it's exactly the same thing. You see, you've got a hole there and a head part there. The legs are actually really easy to put together, so they're quite a nice change. Feet. Predaking always has big feet. I wonder if what they say about big feet is true. Oh, I don't know if that applies to Transformers. That's the camera I'm walking into. So, 2 holes there, 2 holes there. Now, these feet also are guns, so they will fit onto the backs of the of the robot mode or the beast mode, and they're quite obviously guns. You might have seen it does this as well, which is quite nifty because it gives him articulation in his legs when he stands up. I gather these, say even the back moves like that, they look like they should light up to me. They don't, and I wonder if this is perhaps a special elsewhere where they do that. So same thing here, again, you just pull that out, and there we are. We're not quite there yet. We've got Razor Claw, but he's still got all his samurai kit on. So what you have to do is take the samurai kit off. If I can remember how. It's been a while since I transformed this guy. So, and the instructions, I have to say, unique toys often suffer with this. The instructions are a bit incomprehensible gibberish sometimes. You've got an highlighted part, and actually I think how this guy was put together in the instructions is wrong to how it actually is. I seem to be struggling with this. I'm pretty sure the back went on last, and then the front did not. Okay, I'm reluctant just to pull in case it breaks it. I'll tell you what, I'm going to have to leave this for now. Look at the instructions, and what I'll do is I'll show you how to do that when we transform this guy. In fact, this guy will be the next guy we do. So we'll take him out of Predaking mode, into robot mode, into beast mode, and back again. So we'll just leave the disembodied wreck of Predaking there, or rather we'll just turn him over because he's going to fall over. So these are all his constituent parts, plus of course the sword. Now there's a lot there, and this doesn't even show you the individual swords for all the little guys. Predaking is a big toy. He is an expensive toy now. It cost me a fair bit of money. It costs even more the longer you leave it, just because you're not going to get them more and more. But actually, it's well worth it. It's by far the biggest one I've got so far. I haven't finished building the Unique Toys version of Abominus or the Toy World version of Dino King. So compared with what I've got so far, Predaking is by far the largest, the most complicated, and actually just the best looking. He always was a really good looking toy, the G1 version, but the Unique Toys version is absolutely brilliant. So thank you very much for watching. Please leave any comments below. We'll come back later on and I'll show you how to finish transforming Razor Claw so that we can just check how that goes. These are two separate parts, front and back. How they actually come off, I'm a little bit unsure. Maybe they slide, no. We're not going to get it now, and I don't want to try it and damage it. But they are front and back, and to say it is wrong from the instructions, which does not help at all. But never mind, we'll have a look at that, we'll get that sorted. That'll be on the next video. Please do look at the other links, and we'll see you later. Thank you, goodbye.